So welcome back to the weekly update of Prototype to Product, the only contest where your design becomes a real product, made by a real company, if you win the contest, that is. The submissions are still coming in and they keep getting better and better, so here's the recap. Design a camera accessory, submit your design, and the grand prize along with a Core 1 Plus and $750 in Kondor Blue credit is the chance to work with Kondor Blue to turn your design into a real product, an actual product that people can actually use. So I'll say that one more time because it's a part that people don't believe. Your design does not have to be perfect. We are not looking for a polished final product. We are looking for a prototype. Kondor Blue has extensive experience taking ideas and making them real. That's kind of the whole point. So we are calling all types of people, uncles, aunts, babies, nephews, second cousins, twice removed, step cousins, brothers, and any and all who have prehensile appendages that can work a mouse and a keyboard to make a unique design and submit it at prototype2product.com. Because when you win this contest, it will change your life because you will work with Kondor Blue to make your design a reality. Not my design, not anyone else's, except yours. On today's update, I got to sit down with Stefan Hermann from CNC Kitchen. If you've been 3D printing for more than about a week, you've watched one of his videos. Stefan is the guy who actually tests the things that everyone argues about. He printed a couple thousand test hooks to settle what layer height gives you the strongest part. He proved heat set inserts are 3 times stronger than printed threads, and in his test of brass insert broke itself before it would twist out of the plastic. His most popular printer upgrade of all time is a $2 concrete paver from the hardware store. He made filament out of hot glue, out of PET bottles, and out of cow manure. And he spent 17 years as an aerospace engineer, including printing titanium parts for commercial aircraft before this became his full-time job. He's also, and I mean this, the perfect person to talk to about this contest because Stefan has lived the exact process. He made videos about heat set inserts. People kept asking where to buy good ones, and now CNC Kitchen has sold millions of them out of a renovated fire station in Germany. That is prototype to product. That's the whole idea. Hi everybody, we're here with Stefan from CNC Kitchen. Hi Stefan.
Guten Tag everybody. Guten Tag Nathaniel. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Friday afternoon, a bit tired, but otherwise can't complain too much. It's really hot currently in Germany, so I hope you don't hear my AC running in the background. Something very un-German.
What's your ideal temperature for getting stuff done? Is it like really cold?
No, and I think that's one of the reasons why, like, if you are talking to a typical German, they will say AC is horrible, and as soon as I only feel AC, I'll get sick. The ideal working temperature for me, and that's also what I have in here now, is 25, 26 degrees Celsius. So I can be here with a t-shirt, with short pants, and be comfortable and not really like be cold.
I like it as cold as possible where I have to wear a sweater. It could be like 90 degrees outside and
I hate that.
Sweater weather. So Prusa, they had their big announcement, I think it was yesterday. They credit you by name. So what was that like? What was the process of doing that with them?
I mean, I have been kicking them in their butts for quite a while, and I have been becoming more and more frustrated about me trying to give them feedback what they could improve and nothing really happening in that regard, which is kind of sad because there are so many things I and all of the community and the people that are using the machines complain about, which are, I mean, in my opinion, from a different perspective, kind of easy to fix, but things are not getting fixed, like the nozzle wiper, which we finally got. If you're having a Prusa XL and if you have loaded 5 spools, which already like takes 10 minutes, but I don't want to start talking about that. There is no way that you can put the colors of the different filaments somewhere on the screen into the printer. So if you are in the slicer, you know which color is loaded in which slot. So even the Prusa guys just take photos of their machines when they go back to their printers to assign the proper colors in Prusa slicer. And that's just so stupid. And I mean, I'm currently maybe a bit spoiled with vibe coding because if you're doing your own software and something is not working, you simply prompt how you want to have it solved, and you have that new feature in there in just a few minutes. It's of course more complicated in an established system and things like that, but I mean, if you if you are already writing down filament colors on a piece of paper or taking a photo, and this is your own machine because you're like Prusa, why are you not fixing that problem? And I have the feeling after a lot of kicking them in the butt, things are changing, and I think it's a good thing for everyone who has a Prusa printer or who is thinking about buying a Prusa printer in the future. So let's just hope things are evolving more and more in the positive direction.
I'm so excited for a nozzle wiper. I'm a day one Prusa XL. I bought that machine. I think I was like on Reddit, nervously like refreshing when they announced it. And I was like, oh, like multi-tool head. Like Prusa came out. That machine's been out, what, for 3-4 years?
Oh, I think even more. Yeah, 4 years or something like that.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
And now, like, everybody's talking about, like, this is the year of the tool head. This is the which it is. Like, all these companies are doing tool head stuff.
Yeah.
And so I love my XL, but I've always wanted that that little way to kind of get rid of the extrusion, or the nozzle wiper, so that it actually got rid of that problem.
I've never had huge problems with the XL and nozzle wiping, to be honest. I really got frustrated on the Core one because initially I always had like nozzle cleaning issues, and this got me to the point where I was almost about to just set my printer on fire because I couldn't get a very important print job running. It's established, in my opinion, and there are these edge cases where like their nozzle cleaning procedure is not properly working. So just put a stupid nozzle wiper on the print head. And I think the other thing I'm really stoked about on the XL, since I'm sometimes switching nozzles there or fixing something with the tool heads, is an easier, more straightforward way to do the nozzle offset calibration, because with the pin it was always a pain, especially since you had to make sure that the nozzle is clean and everything. Now I don't know how they're gonna implement it, if it's gonna do an offset calibration before every print, but now it's just like a few seconds or maybe a minute to do the offset calibration. You can be sure that your print comes out fine and nicely aligned if you're doing like multicolor, multi-materials.
So Stefan, CNC Kitchen, how did you come up with that name?
Kind of a happy accident, I think. So like 10 years ago, before I started doing YouTube, I did a lot of, I would say, technical cooking. So a friend of mine and a couple of friends of mine, we're like really into cooking, and especially during that time, no kids, we had a lot of time for things like that, and we did like steaks and something like that, and recorded like the heat up curves and how the heat distribution is within meat and things like that. So when I decided I want to start a YouTube channel, I thought I could mix engineering and cooking in a way. So I said, okay, CNC Kitchen, that's perfect. Even though I still have discussions with viewers that a 3D printer is not a CNC, but every 3D printer is a CNC. Anyways, so I have this combination between kitchen or cooking and engineering and making stuff. But I quickly found out that mixing such content on the channel doesn't really work that well. And I also don't have enough time for it. It's just CNC right now. Initially, I think I did my last live stream a few years back, but typically I did sous vide steak cooking, usually on my old Prusa Mark III or something like that, in the background during the stream. And at the end of the stream, I took that steak out and then seared it with a burner live on stream, and that was basically the cooking part of a CNC Kitchen live stream. I should do that again. I'm kind of...
You absolutely should. Sous vide cooking's the most delicious. I love sous vide cooking.
Yeah. And that was one of the things. So during that time, Chef Steps, they were like... They did their sous vide cooker, and they were doing like these technical cooking recipes. I love that. And yeah, I mean, there is a CNC Kitchen 2 channel with actually one cooking recipe, but that was basically the only thing I did in that direction.
Now I want to see a cooking video from you. Stefan, follow-up question. When are we going to get the dedicated CNC Kitchen, just kitchen episode?
I actually wanted to do something like that, like making a perfect steak with a 3D printer for my 100,000 subscribers special. I mean, now I'm like at 750,000. Maybe it's gonna happen when I reach 1 million.
Oh my gosh, please! I want to see that. Yes.
cooking a full meal on my printers or machines that I have in the studio could be funny.
I was watching one of your videos, and you were talking about kind of making the jump to doing content creation on YouTube full time. So you just recently quit your full-time job. So what kind of walk me through that? What was that like?
I mean, it was already almost 2 years ago. But I have been doing YouTube for 10 years now. And I mean, initially it was fine because my wife was working full time. We didn't have kids yet. So we worked the nights and worked the weekends. And I had plenty of time. And also the amount of time I spent for videos and all of the organization around that was way less. So that kind of worked out. Then when COVID hit, also our first daughter got born, and I reduced my working hours to only 2 days every week, which was kind of fine because I had more time for the family and more time for basically doing YouTube. After a few years, I realized in Germany, we say you can't dance at 2 weddings at the same time. I realized that I'm unhappy with not having enough time for doing proper YouTube videos and being stressed all the time and not having enough time for the family. And I'm also not happy at my old job because I can't finish the tasks that I get in the quality I would like. When my second daughter was born, I realized, okay, it's time to quit one of the two. And I decided, I mean, I can live from being a content creator. I have fun being a content creator. I actually never wanted to be self-employed, but doing that for a while and realizing not having a boss is also kind of nice. So I said, okay, screw it. Let's give it a try. If it's not working out, I'm gonna find a job as an engineer somewhere else at some point. So yeah, I mean, I've been doing that for almost 2 years now. The funny thing is that the amount of content that I've been producing ever since I went kind of full time reduced, but I also realized that I have more time now for myself. I can do a bit more video games and spend more time with the family and things like that, and have a better work-life balance, because before it was just like work 80, 90 hours every week with 2 kids at home and a wife that is probably also not happy about the amount of work that I did. So I'm happy with the transition, to be honest. So far, I haven't missed my old job. I'm still in regular contact with my old colleagues. I really liked what I did there. If there is not a very specific reason to go back to that job, I hope that I can continue what I do right now for a few more years, at least.
So now that you've been doing YouTube full time for the past 2 years, so work-life balance, how do you manage that? Because you're your own boss now.
Yeah, I'm very bad in managing myself, which means I still work too much. The reason for that is typically because I enjoy working. My wife regularly gives me a kick in the butt and tells me, okay, you need to spend more time with the family. I mean, I work a lot from home, and also my office is just 5 minutes away from here, so that's not too bad. But having a proper work-life balance is hard for me, to be honest. I sometimes wished I had more time, but being self-employed, somehow you always have the feeling you need to work more, because when you are working more, you can achieve more. It's that vicious circle.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah, no, my workshop is downstairs, and so I'll be filming or something, I hear a knock on the door, and it's one of my little girls, and it's oh yeah, come on in, but it's I'm trying to get work done, but I also want to make sure I'm available when I'm at home. But it's I'm enjoying these moments, which works pretty well.
Definitely. I mean, I think I'm also a bit spoiled there, or at least my family is a bit spoiled there, because if I would work a normal job, I would be away from very early in the morning until basically we have dinner. Currently, I bring the kids to kindergarten. I'm typically home for lunch, and then I'm back home for dinner, and I spend the weekends here and things like that. It could be worse, but I mean, it always also could be better.
How much easier, what do you envision happening in the next 2 years or 5 years with that?
It's hard to say. I mean, of course, I would hope for having a similar system where also companies contribute to platforms more and more that we can get spare parts for things that typically break. In my opinion, we are already at a very, very good point. The question is, what could we even imagine what could actually be even better? Because it's already that simple. It's as simple as kids can start prints on their own. Maybe we're gonna have an even easier system that we only have like a white spool of filament in the printer and then an additional like ink print head that we can do multicolor printing without changing filaments. So this is, I think, one of the most archaic things about 3D printers, that we do need to change the spools. We do need to have the multi-head printers or the one nozzle but many filament printers, and making that simpler could also make the whole process even easier. Then it's just like a regular 2D printer, but working way more reliably, that you only basically load paper and then you have your 4 inks or something like that, and you can print out anything that you can imagine.
Oh, that's so cool. No, I think I agree with you 100%. Although it is funny because I feel like 3D printers are much more reliable than regular ink and paper printers, at least from my experience.
Yeah, that's the thing.
my printers never work.
Yeah, that's it's funny, and I don't really know why and how we came to that point and why they are so unreliable. I mean, they are definitely built to a price, and maybe this is one of the reasons, because they try to use cheaper hardware and electronics. Or it's just like planned obsolescence, that like after 3 years you have a printer, it just simply stops working, and you need to buy a new one.
It's like a consumable almost.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, throw out your printer, throw it out in like 2 years. Like, don't we replace the ink cartridge? No, just throw it out.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, the sad thing is that sometimes it's even cheaper to throw out the whole printer than to buy a new set of ink cartridges. That's the thing. I mean, this was exactly what happened, like, I think a year ago. My old printer, it still printed fine, but like every second print that I wanted to start, it didn't connect. And then I had to turn it on and off again. And it annoyed me so much that I just said, okay, screw it. I'm gonna throw it out and buy a new one. And probably this one's gonna work again for the next 2 or 3 years. And then I'm gonna do the same thing again, even though the hardware itself is super fine. It's just a software bug.
So in terms of filming, before our interview, I've been binge watching lots and lots and lots of your videos. Your shots are really good, like your composition, like how do you come up with these shots, these kind of cool looking shots?
I don't have a real plan, to be honest. What I always liked and like are these really close-up shots. I'm really into like macro photography, microscopes and things like that. And this is probably one of the reasons why I also, when I like started early, I always had like these close-up shots. I really enjoy looking at prints. I enjoy looking at printers because I think that tells you so much. So this is probably something that I also try to do in my own shots, that I don't want to have like just an overview beauty shot of the machine, but I want to see how the things are working on the inside, because this is what has been fascinating me for like years, and I can still sit in front of a 3D printer for 5 minutes and just watch the extrusions go down.
What's your favorite camera that you shoot on right now? What's your kind of go-to?
So I shoot on a Lumix S5. I wouldn't even say it's a happy accident. So I started with Lumix cameras when I got into YouTube. I transitioned to a G5 after that. Micro Four Thoughts was working pretty well for me. And then I bought a separate microscope objective or microscope lens, but that was only fitting on a full frame camera. So the sales guy told me, yeah, why don't you also buy this Lumix S5 body that I also have right here. So I ended up buying that body, didn't use it for I think 2 years, still used my old G5, and I think like a year or two ago I started transitioning over to shooting everything in full frame. I'm not 100% happy with that choice because somehow my S5 always underexposes for no real reason, and I'm out of warranty, so I don't really want to send it in. Autofocus is pretty bad, and for example, one of the guys who's also in my studio, he has a Sony camera which has like automatic FTP upload, so he doesn't need to fiddle around with like SD cards anymore, and everything is directly on the storage server, and I really envy him for that. But since I have all of the glass now for my full frame Lumix cameras, it's hard for me to switch to Sony, to be honest.
What's your like coolest use case scenario? Like what do you want to, how do you want to implement in a video? Do you have any ideas that you're kind of dreaming up?
Since printers becoming more and more, they become faster and faster every year, we need to deal with all of the dynamic problems that result from that. So one of the things that I want to show is, for example, how input shaping works, how the tool head stops or moves and shakes around if you go around corners and things like that. And that, I think, could be very well done with a high-speed camera. I mean, there are applications where you can, for example, do Schlieren filming to see how the air comes out of the cooling shroud and things like that you can do very well with a high-speed camera. As I said, I always wanted one. I didn't have a lot of use cases for it yet.
What advice would you give a designer that maybe hasn't started designing or maybe is afraid to design? What advice would you give that person to get their design out there?
In my opinion, we have the tools these days to prototype and iterate fast. And I always give the advice, if you never start, you're never going to achieve anything. Have an idea. First of all, have a problem. Figure out that it's a problem. Think about a solution and then just work from prototype to prototype. Do a rough design, print it out, see if it fits. Fix the problems that you have with this design, print it out, and then you can work your way to a solution that is specifically catered to the problem that you have and maybe that hasn't been solved before. And if you never start, you will never come to a goal. And there's a ton of design software around, and if you have never used one, I think something like that could be a perfect use case to finally start using and start learning it. An actual problem that you're working on, and not just like designing a cylinder and putting a hole in there. I think learning by doing is very important here.
What is the print time? I keep seeing your Majora's Mask. What's the print time on that? How long does that take? Like 18 days?
No, I think the first one that I printed on the X1 with like the 8 colors and I think 2 kilos of waste, I think that took 6 days. These days with the tool changes, I'm really looking forward to. I think I'll be getting an index system pretty soon, which also has 8 nozzles or 6 nozzles? It should have enough nozzles for printing like a full color Majora's Mask. I think you can get it down to roughly a day. But it's a beautiful print.
Really?
Yeah. It's not that bad.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a kilo of material. Of course, there are a lot of tool changes. And with the printers that I had before, they simply did not have enough nozzles, for example, on the H2C, to print everything without any purging waste. So the core, now that's really hard. The Core 1 S 2nd generation Index Prusa edition. Kill me. It's a horrible name. I think that
great machines.
That's gonna be the first machine with enough tool heads to print a Majora's Mask like in one go without any purge tower or even like a significant amount of purge waste. Looking forward to that. I mean I'm 38 now. I grew up with the N64 and Zelda games, and Majora's Mask is like one of the things that I still remember from my childhood. I actually bought a Switch 2 just like a few weeks ago for the Ocarina of Time remake that's hopefully gonna arrive at
the
end of this year. So yeah, I'm a nostalgia nerd. So
yep, me too. Oh, that's so cool. That's so good. Yeah, I'm a big Majora's Mask fan. It's funny, as a kid, it was so cryptic, like the moon crashing. It was like, Lots of dark themes in that game, and it was like, whoa. But the time mechanic and stuff are. So Stefan, it was a pleasure having you on the update. Any outro or any thoughts that you have before you go?
I highly appreciate having the opportunity to be here. I think it's going to be a really impressive contest. I highly appreciate it if you basically empower designers to get from an idea to a real design, and maybe something that's actually going to be sold in the end, because that's typically a big challenge. So I'm looking really forward to the contestants and what they are coming up with, and maybe there's a macro slide on there. We'll see.
Awesome. Perfect. Thanks, Stefan. So you heard Stefan. He wants somebody to design a macro slider, something that lets you get those close-up shots of the things that we look at every day. A nozzle, a cold pull, a piece of filament. It's a free idea. Run with it. And his advice is the best advice in the whole contest. If you never start, you're never going to achieve anything. Find a problem, make a rough design, print it, and see what's wrong with it, fix it, print it again. That's it. That's the entire process. Now, for the giveaway, Stefan makes the absolute best heat set inserts on the market, and we're giving away some. To enter, comment metric is better, which it most definitely is. And I'm one to talk because where I'm from, we deal with imperial or freedom units. Freedom indicating that I've freed myself from a rational and organized way of measuring anything. You can find his inserts and the rest of his tools at cnckitchenus.store, link in the description down below. Every week I'm going to pick one design that's been submitted to the contest and put it on screen. Print of the week. This week is the Fast and Easy Cable Organizer by Kren Design. So here's what it does. It's one piece, no hinge, no screws, no hardware, nothing to assemble. You coil your cables and the coil goes through the middle, the end presses into the forks, and it just holds. That's it. It prints flat in about 20 minutes, 6 grams of filament, and it comes in 3 sizes. Small for your thin cables, medium, and then large for your thick braided cables up to 3 meters. And listen, there is something genuinely satisfying about untangling a rat's nest of cables. It's the same part of your brain that likes to organize a drawer. This thing is that feeling, in plastic for 6 grams. But here's the part that I actually want to talk about. Kren Designs joined Printables on June 16th of this year, 9 weeks ago. His bio says, and I quote, "I'm pretty new to designing, but I love 3D printing and making things." In those 9 weeks, he's published 19 designs. That's a new design every 3 days. And if you just scroll through them in the order, you can literally watch him level up in real time. In June, he was screwing together flat plates together with an M3 hardware. By August, he's designing a rotating pill organizer with a 7-position tactile click. He's got an EDC box cutter with a sliding clicky blade, a print-in-place folding phone stand, a pencil case with the hinge pin that is just 195mm piece of filament, a doorstop with a dual material grip that is numbered, so you can't put them in wrong. 19 designs in 9 weeks, and they keep getting better. So go follow Kren Designs on Printables, links in the description. And if you like the cable organizer, hit that like on his model. It costs you nothing, and it matters more than you would think. Keep the design submissions coming. You can enter at www.prototype2product.com. Tell your friends, tell your family, and we will see you here next week, same time, same place.